Why do I teach Hatha yoga in these Vinyasa yoga times? On the surface it looks like a matter of style, but if you go deeper, basically I do teach Vinyasa yoga, but I still don't, and I teach Hatha, but I actually don't. So let me explain. Hi, namaste. My name is Yevgenia, and today I would like to go into the Vinyasa and Hatha yoga, and a very easy answer to why I don't teach Vinyasa yoga is, well, because as I started to practice yoga, Vinyasa was not a thing yet. Vinyasa in the sense we see it today. So let us start with first defining Vinyasa. What I see in the classes and the studios today, a Vinyasa class is like a flowy yoga class where, well, you are considered to move to your breath, so every movement is one breath. Unfortunately, I don't see so much teaching of how really to breathe in this flow. And there is music, and the postures, they go one into another. There is some dance quality as well, mostly, but of course classes, they vary a lot. Well, now, where does it come from? Let us go a little bit further back and let us see how Vinyasa developed. Let us go into 1990s. So this is a time where the big Hollywood stars and like the celebrities like Sting and Madonna, they popularized yoga by practicing it, and what they learned was the Ashtanga Vinyasa style of yoga. A demanding yoga style, a physical one, okay? Now, where does that come from? We have to go back in the 1970s. And this is where a person called Pattabhi Jois started to teach yoga to Westerners. It was in India, so people from the West started to come to his place, and he started to teach them yoga. And then when he started to teach it to the Westerners, he called it Ashtanga yoga. And Ashtanga is basically, it is a set sequence. So the way Pattabhi Jois taught it, he taught asanas. They were a set sequence, started with the sun salutations, and then the poses, they had this vinyasa in between, the connecting element, the link. The practice again was very demanding, it was physical, he called it like blood boiling, and that's how it came to the USA and to Europe, how it got popularized in the 90s. And then today in 2026, what we see is mainly Ashtanga is away from this Ashtanga Vinyasa sequence of words. The sequence itself is mostly gone. Then we have still this linking element, but during the poses were held for a longer period of time, for 5 breaths or even 8 breaths earlier, we don't hold poses anymore, but they are flowing one into another. Then the music came, and I suggest that most probably the dance and music element was influence of the teacher called Shiva Ray. She studied in the 90s, I guess in the 90s in California, yoga and dance, and she combined them in a way how like it influenced, and the way she taught was also like this flowy vinyasa style. Okay. Now, this is not the end yet, or not, better said, not the origin of vinyasa yet. Let us look even further back in the 1930s. So in the 1930s, there was this man, he was called Turmalai Krishnamacharya, and he was invited to teach yoga asana in a Mysore palace. And he was teacher of Pattabhi Jois in the end. What, like Krishnamacharya, it was a turbulent time. It was a time of yoga being very popular, already starting to become popular in the West. There were other teachers like Sri Kuvalyananda and Swami Kuvalyananda and Sri Yogendra, who already started to teach yoga asana in sense of for well-being, for health, and so on. What Krishnamacharya did, though, he started to link separate asanas so that they came from one into another, and that there was a certain sequence which made sense for him. So this is how he called the way he taught asanas Vinyasa Krama, meaning like he started to put asanas into a certain order and link them with one another. By that time as well, the sun salutations already became or started to become part of yoga, definitely. By the time Krishnamacharya developed his method, sun salutations were the part of the practice. So the way he taught asanas to his students at that time was how Vinyasa developed. And now you see in my classes, postures, they also are put in certain order, and I sometimes even use this linking element. I use the Vinyasa, though not so much like in other styles, other teachers, but I still use it from time to time to get into a breathing and moving pattern. Well, in this sense, you can say I teach Vinyasa. And now we have to go to Hatha. I see that today, when people say like, I do Hatha yoga, I teach Hatha yoga, Hatha is a generic term. That almost means like, if it's not Vinyasa, if it's not Yin, if it's not hot yoga, if it's not Ashtanga for that matter, then it's Hatha. Very generic. Okay, fair enough. Now, in the 20th century, Hatha was something like asanas taught in big centers, in ashrams in India. In these centers, yoga still had, or still has, the meaning of being a path of way of transformation where asana is just one element. There is also pranayama, there is also chanting, there is also meditation. Asana is part of it, but asana is an auxiliary practice. It's a way to prepare the body for certain things. So it is maybe more soft. it's not so rigid. It's not about sports, definitely not. And I've also heard Hatha yoga is seen as like the ashram style yoga, as contrast of Pattabhi Jois yoga, or because Iyengar yoga, who was also a student of Krishnamacharya. So the contrary of this physical demanding styles of yoga. But then we have again to go further back. Leaving the 20th century, we're going to the 19th century. And this, let's imagine, it's a time where practicing asanas was not a thing yet. In the West, anyways, not. So we are in India now. It is India, like especially beginning of the end of the 19th century. It is already a modern time. It's a time of technology and progress and science. And yoga, if it was a thing, it was philosophy, it was logic, or at least the way how people, educated Indian people, people coming from yogic traditions, wanted to present yoga to the modern society. And then there are these strange guys, solitary guys, wanderers, mystics, without any possessions, magicians. They were considered ascetics, walking around. They were believed to have supernatural powers, and by the British Empire, obviously, they were even considered thieves sometimes. And they also didn't have a good name in the Indian society, so they were the outcasts, and these were the Hatha yogis. And to understand how it came to that, we have to go even further back. And now, like, it's a very, very rough sketch of what I'm presenting here, just to explain what I'm teaching. So it's not precise, and if you want to know more, you have to get deeper into details. But for now, let's say we have to go back, and we have to leave this modern yoga style. So we have to leave all this Ashtanga, Vinyasa, Yin, whatever. Now, yoga used to be, and still is, a path towards self-realization, towards liberation, towards recognition. And it's not only one path, but there are many yogic paths. So paths like jnana yoga, yoga of wisdom, yoga of thinking and logic and philosophy and reading the scriptures. There is also yoga of bhakti, yoga of devotion, yoga of giving up control, yoga of surrendering to something divine. There is also karma yoga, yoga of selfless action, yoga of doing your duties, what you have to do. And most of the time, people don't expect to reach liberation or self-realization in their own lifetime. So it's always a goal, or a way towards a goal which will be achieved after we leave our body. And then sometime in the medieval ages, like I guess now 9th, 10th century, another way appeared. And that way said, like, you can reach self-realization while staying in your body by working through the body. in all, almost, let's say, the paths, these ways, body was never considered a thing. You had to leave the body. And if you worked with the body, you had to mortify it. You had to, to let it suffer so you can see that you're not your body. And in this new emerging tradition, they also said, like, the body is not the end, but it's a means. Meaning that when you can modulate your life force inside your body, let it move through your inner channels, your individual consciousness can unify with the bigger universal consciousness. And that's how you reach the liberation, the realization. So on this path, you have to prepare yourself first. And how you prepare yourself? You cleanse your channels. So these are the channels inside your body where your life force is flowing. But most probably these channels are congested, so you have to cleanse them first. And then once you've cleansed them for many years, you can go to a next step where you really can modulate your prana, your life force, by the means of breath retention mostly, so holding your breath. And this is how your individual consciousness will transform you from the inside. And this is how the realization happens. And in the last stage, you can cultivate this realization. You can stay in it. You can stay in your body, but you can also leave your body. And what interests us right now is this preparation. And the preparation is from the very down-to-earth things, like cleansing. And they really start with cleansing the body, like cleansing your guts, your respiratory system, with the practices which are questionable, at least for most of us today. But for example, one of them is quite popular in the modern world. This is the neti pot, when you cleanse your nasal cavities by putting the salty water into the nose, like into one nostril, and it flows from the other. So this is one of the cleansing techniques. Then the other cleansing techniques are the basic breath techniques, pranayama, like for example nadi shodhana. They are an alternate nostril breathing, which we do, or the ujjayi breathing can be it as well, and asanas. And asanas is something which can make your body stronger. If your body aches, your channels cannot be clean. This is how you proceed towards the next step. So here we are. What are we doing in modern yoga? Most of the time we are doing asanas, and we are doing maybe a little bit of pranayama, a little bit of bandha, these locks. These locks, we need them to contain prana inside the body. And then we also go towards stillness and meditation. But then you see, if you see it this way, Hatha is really, really a mouthful. It's big, it's huge, it's whole path. And since I am not initialized in any of these Hatha lineages or traditions, I cannot say that I teach Hatha yoga. So to conclude everything, I would like to put it this way. What I practice and what I teach are mainly asanas, postures. I also give some bandha. I practice bandhas and pranayama, basic breathing techniques. In my classes, when we go through this sequence of movements and postures in a vinyasa way, I hold space. And by holding this space for the participants, I invite every single transformation which can happen. Because even if we are doing basic things, the ones which are considered only preparation on the path of Hatha yoga, I myself strongly believe that they have a power to transform us and to bring us closer to the realization of who we really are. That's it for today. Thank you. Namaste.